Okay, so we're at Donnington for this one in the TCR. Originally I hadn't planned on recording this one. It was just a race, but it turned out to be a pretty good race, so I went back into my iRacing and figured we'll record it and do some editing of it. And we're going to try something a little different on this one. I'm going to put the TV broadcast in the main screen. We'll have the cockpit view up in the top right corner, just to kind of show a little bit more of the racing action going on. So started off in second on this one, lost a spot off the start of the race. We'll drop down to third here now, following behind Alfredo. Alfredo was the number one car, so he's dropped down a spot too as well. Pete had a blistering start off the hop here and was able to pick up 2 spots and get in front into first, and he's got about a second lead over me now up in first, so we'll see if we can close this gap as we end the first lap. It's always a tricky chicane to get through heading to the start-finish line here. You gotta kind of jump the curb, but if you hit it too much, it'll throw you off the side of the track, and you touch your front wheels into the grass there, and it's endgame. You're going for a ride into the wall. The top 4 cars have kind of pulled away a little bit. We got John behind us, about a half a second back. And then behind him, Marcel is about a little over 3 seconds back of us. So the top 4 have pulled away as expected. If we look back at the qualifying times, the top 4 are all a substantial margin ahead of the rest of the field in qualifying, so it's to be expected. Correctly, I think we had three or four Canadians in this race, so it was a Canuck-dominated field. I know John behind us is a fellow Canadian. Brian sitting in 7th place right now. He's a Canadian too as well. So we're just kind of sitting back here in third, biding our time. We got John kind of dropping back and closing up behind us. Back to a little over a minute, almost a minute, second and a half behind us right now. We've closed up on Alfredo here. Generally, I'm pretty quick through this section. I can make up a little bit of time on the other guys, but they seem to step away from me on the downhill as this section. So that's going to finish up lap 3. We're on to lap 4 now. Running order is still the same. We got Pete out front and Alfredo trying to put a move on him here. That's the nice thing about the TCR races, is you can get some door-to-door action here. You rub a little bit and not have to worry about bouncing off the track. They seem to take rubbing and kind of grinding on each other pretty well. That's going to do it for lap 4. We've got John now closed up to a half-second back of us. The 2 cars battling in front of us aren't really allowing me to put in some of my quickest laps. I'm having to adjust my lines a little bit to not get into them. At this point they're looking kind of racy here in the downhill section, so I'm just trying to lay back a little bit in case they do get into each other. I don't get caught up in it. Okay, we're on lap 6 now. We're halfway through the race. Running order hasn't changed much since the start of the race. We're still just biding our time here. Hoping that these 2 guys possibly get into each other and we can just scoot on up there and take off for the win. Looks like Alfredo's going to try and make a move there. He thinks better of it. Might be positioning himself for an inside move. He's going for it. If he can pull through, he's going to have the inside for the next one. Now Pete's going to move over and cut him off. Ooh. Another battle. Had to whoa up. Make sure I didn't get into Alfredo. That's going to let John move on to the inside here. Coming into the braking zone here. John's going to move over a little bit. The cars get squirrely under braking. They start to dance a little bit, so I don't think that was intentional, but if you watch the TV feed, you can see his car does get a little squirrely and he moves a little left, but I don't think it was intentional. It was just one of those things. So now we're back into 4th. We got John up in front of us. Just kind of hang out here for a little bit and see if we can position ourselves if something happens. We got Charles in 5th is 8 seconds back, so if something catastrophic happens, we don't really need to worry much about those guys back there. John runs a little wide there. We'll close up on him. Get a decent little run here. Could have pulled out and showed him the nose there, but we're just going to try and hang tight, and see what happens up front. Starting to lose touch a little bit with the first 2 cars, so we're going to try and pick up the pace here a little bit, because we want to be in a position to capitalize if something happens between them. Again, they still look pretty racy up there. Alfredo's peeking inside. closed it back down to a little over a second back of the leaders. So we're in a good position if something happens to capitalize here. We got I think 2 laps to go once we cross the line here. Maybe 3. Here, that's gonna cost me a half a second or so on the top 3, so I'm really gonna have to push it coming down the hill here to close that gap back up. Pete's gonna take the grass, manages to keep it without sliding off into the wall. You get into that grass in these front-wheel drive cars, and it's very tough to keep it off the wall. So good job on Pete for holding that one together. If that's going to allow all 4 of us to close it back up again. He's going to get a little wide there, and it's going to allow us to get a run on him, but before we can really get going, he managed to pull all 4 tires back onto the grass. We'll hold off, and maybe he'll drop a couple wheels off again. This is lap 11, we should have 1 more after this. It's a timed 15-minute race, and we're at about 14.5 minutes right now, so we should have time for 1 more lap. So yeah, it looks like John looking to make a move on the inside of Alfredo up there. Okay, we're on lap 12 now. Again, top 4 are good, almost 10 seconds ahead of the rest of the field, so it's just down to the 4 of us here. See if anyone cracks under the pressure or drops a wheel off or 2. So John's trying to make a move on Alfredo. It's going to cost him some time going a little wide there. Alfredo's going to hold the inside line. Well, they're going side by side. They're going to take it into the chicane. Oh. Looks like Pete's going to netcode touch John there. That's going to drop John back, allow us to jump up into 3rd. We're on the white flag lap now, last lap. And it didn't look like they touched, looked like it was netcode from my cockpit view. I know on the radio,
screwed my entire race.
John was a little upset during the race. He thought Pete touched him, but that looked like it was all netcode to me from back here in 4th. So we're up into 3rd now. Putting some pressure on Pete. See if we can pressure him to make a mistake and move up into 2nd. late on the throttle there. It's going to allow Pete to get a run on us. It's not going to happen this lap. But we kept our nose clean. We had a 0x race. We're going to bring it home third. Qualified second, bring it home third. Car 5. So overall, not a bad way to finish.
Good race on Friday. Should have won that.
It was a good fun race. These TCRs are always a blast. We'll see you next time.